Hello, everyone. It's Crystal Hill here, independent publisher and founder of Hill House Publishing. And we are live across all the platforms, and our book Beyond Certainty has reached #1, as you can see on the backgrounds here, in 3 countries: Australia, Canada, and the USA, in inspirational books, divination, evolutionary psychology, and inspirational spirituality, and a few others. So we are just totally over the moon and want to thank everyone who has supported this launch and helped us do that, so that we can, raise the vibration on the planet, one person, one book, and one story at a time. And mine just telling me it's having trouble with Facebook again. I don't know why it keeps doing that. I need to, doesn't matter. I'll share it to Facebook later. So I would love to introduce some of the speakers, not the speakers, yeah, they'll be speaking now, but some of the authors who have contributed to this incredible book. Hello, Alison. Nice to have you here.
Hi, Chris.
Would you like to start by sharing how you're feeling? Like, we've been on a talk again earlier this morning. It's been a whole day for us. And yeah, first time becoming an international best-selling #1 author, right?
Yes, it's an amazing feeling. The day has been exhausting. It's hard work being an international author. No, it's been fantastic. Have had a lot of support from around the globe and internationally as well. People reaching out and congratulating me, and connected with a lady from Canada as well, and just being able to. That's exactly what my mission was hoping to achieve, and it's already happened. And just a couple of people reaching out and really knowing that you are touching them here and making a difference. And yeah, that's just so heartwarming. So it makes it really all worthwhile. Yep.
So you're saying that you've already made new connections with your book and your story.
Yes.
And yeah, so tell us a little bit about what you're sharing. We know that you work with adoptees, but yeah, just share a little bit more in your own words what you're here to do and what your mission is with this.
Okay, so my mission really is giving hope and faith to other adoptees and anyone really who suffers rejection and abandonment, and understanding that there's always the possibility of self-love, self-healing, and changing our perspective of life. And just, it all starts there. It starts here in the heart. So for me, that's my journey forward, and just wanting to connect. That's my passion, is connection, and being able to connect with other adoptees, and just to give them hope to know that, it is possible to feel enough and self-worth and self-love. So yeah, that's part of my journey.
And just staying with you, because it's such an interesting topic. I learned so much from you reading your chapter about the epigenetics of being an adoptee and how that impacts. But what, in terms of Beyond Certainty, what is that link for you? The certainty or the lack of certainty that an adoptee is facing, and that you've also shared in your chapter.
It was really the discovery that uncertainty is in our core from the moment we are conceived or born. Like literally from that time of birth, there is uncertainty. There's no safety. And that's literally the opposite of certainty, is uncertainty, and with that comes unsafe. And I think a lot of people get a little bit, the common discussion is that it shouldn't make any difference if you are taken from a mother who can't raise you for whatever reason that relinquishment happens. I'm not saying it's all the wrong reasons or right reasons. That's not part of this conversation. And that you're given to another loving family, that there's no effect. And sadly, I think the uncertainty is that moment that you're taking from everything that you know to be safe and familiar, that there is that biological switch that flips and puts you into that freeze mode, into that trauma response. And it's a cellular, deep subconscious, and it just doesn't change from just being externally loved. You've really lost that real connection with your genetics, your DNA, your everything that generations ago have passed down to you. You're all of a sudden cut from all of that. And that's the discussion I want to have. Like, it's not about whether your adopted parents love you. It's not as easy as that. So I think that's where the conversation now needs to move in the future. And that's what I really want to get a part and learn more about that, and through my own experiences, just open that conversation.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's much needed for sure, because it's not something that is currently openly talked about.
No, it's still a bit taboo.
Yes. Anika, let's move to you all the way from India. Welcome to this conversation, and yeah, congratulations on becoming an international best-selling author and for the contribution that you've made to this book. How are you feeling? Let's get you off mute. Hang on. There we go. Start again. Okay, you need to unmute yourself. Otherwise, I can't unmute you for some reason. We're on StreamYard. It's an unfamiliar one, isn't it? So it's at the bottom on the left there. There's a mute button. Yeah.
It's that Mercury in retrograde playing with our technologies.
Maybe, yeah. That's probably why we're not streaming live to Facebook for some reason. I'll have to look into that for the next one. While you're trying to unmute yourself there, I'm sorry I can't help you with it because you muted yourself earlier, so you will find it. We'll just continue the conversation. I think, let's talk about the uncertainty of the creative process. How was that journey for you of writing this chapter? When you first start, you have a chapter guide, but then essentially you're sitting with a couple of questions in front of a blank screen or a blank paper. What was that like for you?
At the time, it was extremely overwhelming, and that's what, without your support to just give me that nudge gently, and then realizing that it really was a really core subject for me right at that time of my life. I was living right there. So I guess it took me a bit of time to let that surface and actually express that. And I was, right in the middle of it all. So it all sort of flowed out, and it was a bit disjointed, and learning how to actually not just, but put it together and flow and make sense so people understood, because I'm very good at brain dumping, but it doesn't always make sense to anyone else. So it was an incredible experience. And it was something that popped up on my radar many, many years ago. I just had a title came to me. The whole Mask of Adoption came to me when I was driving home from work one day. I raced inside and I said to my girls, quick, I've got to write down this title. And they're like, what for? I'm going to write a book. And they're like, you're going to write a book? Like, this is years and years ago. And I went, oh, maybe one day. But it was just this title popped into my head. So, that was underlying the little bit of passion and a seed, let's say, that has been sitting there. So I guess when you popped up, it was like, well, here's the opportunity. Let's say yes and see where this goes. So, and I'm really grateful that I did, and I'm grateful for your support and patience with me, because I know, I was a little bit unorganized and not quite flowing.
Well, that's totally okay. Sometimes it is always that brain dump, and I want, everybody listening or watching to just be comfortable with that, because we don't have to, I always say you don't have to be a good writer in order to be an author. You just have to have a passion for your message. And that's what a publisher is for. That's what an editor is for, to really craft it and make it into that beautiful cohesive flow. So there's never and ever any expectation on doing that. And we've just been joined by Jane Donald, who's also in the book. Welcome. Nice to have you.
Hello.
Jane.
all the way from Ireland. So we've got India, Ireland, and Australia here, all in different time zones. Congratulations to you as well for waking up to being an international best-selling author. How are you feeling?
Well, it's do you know what I love about it? Because writing can be quite lonely, and you're doing it on your own, and you don't know what people are going to think of it. I love the fact that there was collaboration, and it was such good cooperation and everything in the project, and so many other people involved in it. That's the aspect I've really enjoyed, and sure, it's fantastic. It's very exciting, isn't it?
It's
And
so exciting.
great
Yes.
inspiring people to have around you on this project. So it's been wonderful. I'm delighted. I can't wait to hear feedback from readers now, what they think of all the different chapters and what they get from it. And of course, some parts are going to resonate and some parts aren't. And see the feedback. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I woke up this morning to a beautiful message, a voice message from a previous client who said, "Thank you so much for putting this book out there. I read the first couple of chapters and so many synchronicities, and it really helped me with a decision I had to make in my life. So already it is making an impact." Share a little bit about who you are, Jane, and what you're doing in the world.
Well, I published a few other books that kind of channel books. I visited sacred sites in Ireland and took photographs and wrote inspirational messages to go with them. And what's interesting about when you put energy books out into the world, what's interesting is what comes back, what you hear, all the stories of how it influenced people, how it helped somebody, all of that aspect of things is what I love to hear about. And these kind of books take legs, they go everywhere and they take legs, and you hear all sorts of weird and wonderful stories back of magic, really, of the effect it has on people, because the intention and the energy is so high in books like that. So it's just exciting to have been asked to be a part of it, and to be have so many other good people doing something like this. It's just special, isn't it?
Very special. Anika, try and leave the chat, leave the StreamYard and come back again and see if we can unmute you that way. So who are the people that you are helping, Jane? Like, who do you work with in particular with your healing? Is there any? I know that we've been working together, and that's been amazing. Is there anything that you're sort of specializing on?
Well, what I specialize in really is looking when all the conventional logic fails, and there's still blockages for people, whether it's illness or trying to sell a house or trying to get a job. It's if all conventional logic fails, what is the unseen thing that's roadblocking you? And it's never ever what we think it is. Like, it's always some, the universe works in a very mysterious way, that it can go round and round in circles, and it can link things that we would never think to link. So it's to try and help people when all the conventional logic fails, that it might be land healing in order to get a job, it might be house healing in order to meet a new partner. It's never ever what you think it is. And it's always, I think what I've found from this kind of work is that it really increases your compassion towards people, because we're all going round half blind. We don't understand how the universe works and how it all works. So people are blundering into things, and they're working hard, they're thinking about things, they're studying, but still they're running into roadblocks, because we just don't understand how amazing the universe is, and how the universe can skip ahead and do things. And we're really all just operating in the dark to a certain extent, because our intelligence hasn't been developed in order to see the way the universe does work. And I mean, I'm full of admiration for human beings, that they get up and stay going in the game we're in, because it is complex for people.
Absolutely. And I love what you're saying about, increasing compassion, because we think we understand, but it's really the only thing we understand is the tip of the iceberg, and there's all this other stuff beyond that. And so what is your take or your wisdom for those watching around the uncertainty of life, because in a way what you've just talked about is touching on that and ways of dealing with that. What would you share?
I think the single biggest lesson I've learned is the surrendering process of when you think things aren't going well, or when you think things are held back, or when you think things are taking too long. You have to surrender to the wisdom of the process, of the bigger picture, that the universe knows more than we do, and that there's always reasons why things are happening in the sequence that they are, and why you're meeting the people that you meet, and why relationships are going the way they are. There's always a bigger picture, whereas we get lost. I mean, I'm a gold medalist in frustration myself. I have to I have to step out of frustration the whole time, because I want to press on all of the time. But there's this whole surrendering process that goes on to allow something better in that you couldn't have even imagined. And I think that's where we're so focused on doing and achieving. And we think if we work hard, if we study hard, if we do all the things, we'll achieve what we want. But we're actually living through a time at the moment now, with the way the earth is, and the time we're living at in history, where a lot of the old ways of doing things and achieving things just aren't working anymore. And it's not anybody's fault. It's just change in the energy and the change in the way we are in existence. And we all have to be a lot gentler with ourselves, a lot kinder, and we have to actually surrender to the new earth that we're being given. And I think that's the hardest thing, because we can't see it. We have to have faith, and we have to move along with the flow of what's coming in our life. Like I always say, I'm living the unplanned life, because everything I've ever planned has never happened. Everything that's happened is something that I could never have imagined, and it's actually better, but it's not actually what I planned, So there's a gift in that. If you can let go of your conventional view of life, there's a gift in the unplanned life. But it can seem a little bit rocky at times, and it can seem uncertain at times. But actually, if you have the underlying faith that the universe is always taking care of you, then the uncertainty leaves. And it's the absence of fear and the peace of mind is what people need to work on. I mean, the big thing is the absence of fear and the peace of mind and the confidence that you are going to be provided for, even if life takes funny turns, or even if you're given a whole different career that you never thought you would have, or a different life than you never thought. I mean, I never thought I'd be doing any of this. So, but, through a whole sequence of events, everything I thought I was going to be doing, I'm not doing, and I'm doing all of this instead. And where would I rather be? I mean, this is fantastic experience with all these good authors and a book going out. But it's, I think, the absence of fear and the surrendering and the faith that you're going to be taken care of, they're the three key elements for me.
And what's so beautiful about this book, Beyond Certainty, is that there are so many stories where all of you, all the authors, have gone on that journey of letting go of the plan, as you were beautifully describing, and just trusting and going into those moments of free flow before the parachute opens, and and we have that visible proof. Oh yeah, actually the universe does have my back. And there's that, as you said, that trust. And so if anybody listens to us right now, it's like, yeah, but how do you do that? How do you do that? Just listen to this, go get the book, read the stories. There's an activation that will happen, because when we hear stories of people who have done it before us, we say, oh, wow, this is a whole new reality that will make it possible. And if they can do it, so can I, because we're all the same in so many ways. Yes, we are all unique expressions of the whole. We're all unique expressions of the universe expressing itself through us, but we are part of the whole. And so if one can do it, we can all do it.
Well, and often it comes when your back is against the wall and all these things are happening that you don't want to happen. And it often happens when you have no other option. You've no other option. So you do go into what you call the free fall. Like, I remember doing a skydive once, and the free fall is the best part. You know what?
But it's like we have to be kicked out of the airplane first, right? We don't, as humans, we don't jump by ourselves. It's like we're so scared, and so that stuff has to happen. Life has to happen, actually push us out of the airplane until that best part can happen, that free flow can
Yeah,
happen.
parachute goes up, it's very boring, really, you know. But it's and then once you've had, like, you don't need to keep having dramatic events in your life to activate it. Like the thing is to wise up and realize you can actually live your life like this without having the drama. Like, you know, often the drama happens and it's not actually you causing it. You're compelled into some drama or other in your life by sequence of events or people around you. But it's to realize and learn the lessons so that you don't have to keep going into dramas, because so many things happen to people that they're not actually creating themselves. That, you know, something greater is happening around them, or other people is happening around them, or whatever, and they're compelled into this corner where they can't get out of it, and they have to go through it to get to the other side. But it's to realize then that when you're living your normal, calm, peaceful life, that you can actually use the lessons again and again and again. And I think the faith, for me, actually, the faith wasn't difficult. That part wasn't difficult. It's the surrendering part for me is difficult. That you're not in control. That you have to keep bowing to a higher wisdom. That you might have to. You know, in Ireland, we have very twisty roads. And I always wonder, why do we have such twisty roads in Ireland? Every road has bends and twists in Ireland. But really, it's a metaphor for life, because nothing is straightforward. Like, I just came back from the Orkney Islands, and there's no trees or hedges, because the Orkney Islands are off the north of Scotland and it's very exposed. And all the roads are straight, the fields are straight. Everything in Ireland goes round corners, goes round bends. Everything is twisty. And really, I think there's probably a deeper wisdom in Irish people, that they know it's not all straight lines.
It's like that constant, they're giving themselves that constant reminder. Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
Alison, you've been nodding a lot. I feel like there's some more things that you'd love to contribute.
Oh, a lot. Absolutely. Like that is the whole, and that metaphor of jumping out of the aeroplane, that is exactly what I got to this year. And I just went, sometimes you just got to jump out and just wait for that parachute to open. There's no safety net, but you've just got to do it anyway. And that is exactly, I thought to myself, I don't think I'd be game to jump out of a real aeroplane, but now you're making me think maybe I should do that to just really, yeah, you've inspired me, Jane.
You can do what I did it in New Zealand one time. You do a dual jump. So you have I had a lovely man strapped to me. I was strapped to the front of him, and then, like, he jumps, so you don't actually have to make
don't have to do anything.
Jump. And then
my
the
son's done it, but I didn't think. But yeah,
up and you go, oh no, safety. This is no fun.
oh yeah, no, I still think I need a little bit of safety. I'm not quite that daredevilish. But that's exactly the metaphor, and it really is trusting and just letting go, and totally. Okay, let's just move through it. And instead of holding on to all of that, everything that you're fighting against, and holding it and keep fighting.
Yay, Anika, unmuted just for a second. But you're muted again now. Let's give Anika the floor here. Welcome. Finally, congratulations. You made technology work for you.
Thank you so much. Sometimes the technology really plays very crazy for me sometimes. And today has been that day. Nothing is just working on my laptop or my internet. Everything is just going crazy. It happens.
That's okay. You're here now. So share with us who you are, what you're doing in the world. And as you can hear, we've been talking about uncertainty. What is your relationship to that? But let's first hear a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Definitely. Well, my name is Anika Singh, and I'm from India. I'm an energy healer plus a geolove healer, and I'm an artist. And I work as an alchemist. I infuse energies and healings into my paintings, and that's my main work. I also work as a healer and as a coach, and but I feel more drawn to working with my paintings, to healing and insights to people. That's my main work.
Yeah, your paintings are beautiful, and I know that in the book, your free gift for every reader is to get some of your digital prints of your paintings and see what resonates. And yeah, so I
Right.
think,
Yeah, I would like to add that all the ones that I've added in that, they are very properly activated by me. The ones that are download that they can download from there, and I would suggest that go with the one that really feels like, calls out to you, because that is the energy that you would need most.
yeah, absolutely. And so tell us a little bit about your journey with uncertainty and any tips that you might have for people watching right now.
Well, my life has been full of uncertainty, and um, now the people are reading the book and they can see for themselves. Like, we face uncertainties, but the only point is that there are times when we just lose our courage and we just feel like stopping. And but the whole point is when we come back to ourselves, we can find our center. We stop looking for things outside from ourselves, not looking for here and there, just within ourselves. It's all here. And once we turn inwards and find everything inside of ourselves, we will always find the courage to keep going despite whatever we are facing. So embrace that courage and unconditional love in your life, which is not easy, but keep doing that, and you will always find the courage to keep moving ahead. And that is the purpose that everybody tried to write and be so much vulnerable to provide that much inspiration and as a hope for people to keep moving ahead, to embrace uncertainties.
Hmm. Thank you. I've just put the link to our book below so that you can get Anika's free gift. You can hear her story. I really loved what you were sharing in your book, in your chapter about the tunnel, that vision, that image, that metaphor of the tunnel and coming out on the other side. Do you want to share just that piece with everyone?
Sure. Well, when I started on the journey, we do hear a lot. Okay, it's like going on a path, it's like a tunnel. At the end of the tunnel, we always see the light. And for some reason, I always had something in my mind like, okay, there will be a point at the end of the tunnel, just keep moving, make the run. And I don't know what I'm going to see. But the point is, the moment I made the end of the tunnel, the first thing that I saw was I saw myself and my authentic self, I would say. So that's the reason I say that maybe there's a light. Yeah, of course, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but what I felt in my experience is that it was my own light that was keep reflecting, that was reflecting from the end of the tunnel, guiding me to keep moving, to keep moving. So that's the reason I say that it's always within us. So the light keeps shining from within us. It guides us. It's just that we have to allow ourselves to see that light, to shine it brighter.
Yeah, I really loved the way you described that in your chapter and now as well. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
To wrap it up, I'd love to go around again and just tuning into what do you feel is one core message as we're connecting to this book Beyond Certainty, finding the courage to embrace the unknown and looking at the world that we're in, and what do you feel you want people need to hear right now that sort of encapsulates that message and inspires them to go and embrace the uncertainty in life in a deeper way.
Well, I feel that everybody will have a lot of ups and downs. There's no point of comparing. Comparison will never lead anybody anywhere. And whenever you're stuck at a point, do not ever think that you're stuck and this is it for me, because there are people who have embraced courage, who have moved forward. And that's the reason we all have come together to share our stories, to show that how that inspiration can keep you moving forward. So there's never an end point. It's always within you. There's a story that you have lived, and at any point of time, you can choose to rewrite your story when you embrace yourself unconditionally, every part of yourself with love.
Thank you. Yes. Who would like to go next? Final words of wisdom.
I'll jump in.
Go
That
for
was
it.
absolutely beautiful. And I think what Anika shared to me is there is always that spark inside, even no matter how dull it feels that it is, there is still that little spark. And I think for my message is for obviously people who have really feel abandoned and rejected, that at the end of the day, if you come back to self, you're the only one that abandons yourself. So it's finding that and the courage to move through that and to do whatever healing it is, to just not give up hope, have patience and trust that once you really feel in here, home to self, yeah, exactly, to your authentic self, that it's amazing what can change and what the future can hold. So that's my message.
Beautiful. Yes. Always coming home to self. Because that's really the only certainty we have, right? That's the only steadiness that we have. Wherever we go, there we are.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah. So might as well love ourselves because we're not going to ever change being with ourselves.
No. That's where it
Thank you.
starts.
Yes, Jane.
I was going to say the absence of fear is a game changer. Like, we do have nothing to fear but fear itself. So if we can teach ourselves and teach others to let go of fear, I mean, that's the big game changer, because reality changes immediately, perspective changes immediately, everything shifts. And of course, it's easier said than done, but the other thing, and what you experience when you do a collaborative book like this, is surround yourself with people who have the same intentions, who have the loving intentions, who have the pure intentions, who are trying to do better for humanity, because we need to lift humanity, and we need to realize we have far more potential than we realize. And the more we can see the way the universe operates rather than our small narrow view of it, the more the magic comes in, and the more we can create what we actually want to, and actually cooperate and be in collaboration with the universe itself, and the things start coming in that you need. But the first step is the absence of fear, and then the surrendering, and you don't have to. The beauty of it is, it's like switching on a light switch. You don't need to know how electricity works and how the whole thing works. The light switch comes on, but you have to decide that you want to switch the light on, and there are loads of people in the world that are on this wavelength, and they're your tribe, they're your group, and the strangest things start happening, the strangest happy joyful things start happening. But the other thing I always try to teach people is, don't struggle on. In Ireland, we love struggling on, we love banging our head off a brick wall. But ask for help straight away. Ask for help straight away. There's somebody knows, and nobody knows everything, but somebody knows something that you need to hear in a moment. So ask for help. Stop the struggling on. Get out of it. That's a habit that we all have, and get out of it, because there's always somebody somewhere knows that little bit of information you need. So even if you ask 3 people and they don't have it, the 4th person might have it. But keep asking for help, because if you ask for help, the universe has to give you help. Whereas if you think you have to keep struggling on, the universe will keep giving you that. So, I mean, they're the 2 things I would think. The absence of fear is a game changer, and ask for help quickly. Don't wait an hour, don't wait 2 hours, don't wait. Some people wait years. Don't wait. Ask for help straight away.
Love that.
And the
Yeah,
universe
absolutely.
is in front of you that has exactly what you need to hear. And that's the universe's job. And they do their job very well, the universe.
They do their job very well. Like for me, it is numbers. Every day I see at least 14, 14, 11, 11, every day, at least 3 times. Every time I question, oh my God, am I doing the right things? Like, and I get these signs every single day, and it's the universe answering, as you said. So we need to asking the right questions. Coming into, as you said, this community. When we're in community with like-minded people, we continue to inspire each other. We continue to raise each other's vibration, and we come into this. We raise the vibration when we are speaking about the things that we're speaking about right now, because we remind ourselves as we're speaking and as we're teaching. And that's the other thing, right? When we teach what we know, it raises our vibration, because not only do we remind ourselves and reflect it back to us, but we are contributing, and in contributing, we are embodying and getting that opportunity. So I guess it's like a thank you to you all to coming into my world, so that I can contribute in this way, and in doing so also help you to contribute in a bigger way, which is what this is all about, to kind of raising the vibration by creating ripple effects around the world, by seeding like little seeds of inspiration and nuggets of wisdom. So thank you so much for hearing the call, for being here, for doing the work that you're doing. And this goes for everybody listening, because you wouldn't be listening, you wouldn't be attracted to this book if you weren't part of that as well, and had your own wisdom to contribute, your own story to live that world that is enriching the greater whole. So thank you all so much.